This vision was taken from the Swains Reefs offshore, roughly east of Shoalwater Bay. It's a long way offshore. There's some remarkable animals about in this area. This is a group of Manta Rays just drifting along underneath the boat. You can see it was pretty mint conditions on the day. Whenever you see these guys, it's a real highlight. Massive, powerful, but beautiful as well. This area of the Swains has good numbers of coral trout. By far the majority are common coral trout, like these guys you can see in the background here. There's some of the larger blue spot coral trout which show up from time to time, but these are the most common. Not always feeding, but turn up in the shots quite frequently. These fish know that there's bait there, but I don't think they recognise it as food because it's not moving at the moment. It usually requires some movement or another fish to start to feed on it before they'll get involved. There's a couple of others just looking at the bait but not actually feeding. When there is some movement, they will feed. So here we've got a bait in the water column, and you can see that there's a small coral trout there. He's feeding quite actively. He's after the bait. You can see he's torn off. Well, he's feeding on a piece that has been torn off. Now it's not just about coral trout. The fish in the background with the black stripe, vertical black stripe, iodine brim, monocled sea brim, very common in this part of the Swains. The fish just coming on now is a Venus tusk fish. They're also very common. Now we've got a large Venus tusk fish feeding here. This fish is a female. You can tell it's a female because there's a dark blotch roughly in the center of the fish. There's a couple of small coral cod there as well, and an iodine feeding. In comes that Venus tusk fish again. See, they tend to tear pieces off the bait. And the one coming in at the moment is another Venus tusk fish, but this is a male. You can tell it's a male because it has the dark band across the top of its head and down over the gill plate, the operculum. Venus tuskfish are very easy to identify because they have those brilliant blue spots, particularly at the back of the head and across the back. Can be over most of the body in some fish. But this one is a male and he's in breeding coloration at the moment, so those colours, a dark band is quite quite dark at the moment. When they're not breeding, it's not as dark. See, there's a small coral trout at the bottom. And he sees the movement of the bait, so he decides to get involved as well. You can see a piece has come off, and he'll take that whole piece away to eat. Any group of Venus tuskfish, the largest fish is always a male. If he's lost, the largest female will change into a male. A couple of other feeding sequences now. In the first one, we've got a large coral trout and a large red throat sweetlet. So we've got a small iodine brim, monocle sea brim, feeding here. Now you can see that there's a piece of food that has been torn off and he's got in his mouth. The large red throat comes in and has a look. But watch the coral trout. Okay, so the coral trout sees the bait in the mouth of the iodine brim, and off he goes and steals it. Now, once again, we've got some small fish feeding, and when they feed, they attract other large fish. So we've got some Venus tuskfish and iodine brim there feeding at the moment. In comes a small emperor, and that attracts the large red throat. And there's that big coral trout in the background. Often grabs another piece of bait. Thanks for watching.